Hey, what's up you guys? Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Mackie and I hope you're all having a great day today. So we are officially on day number 11 of 31 days of Halloween and I've been having so much fun so far, so I hope you guys have been enjoying it. Okay, so I'm gonna be telling a story today, something that happened to me not too long ago. I've seen a few requests of people asking to hear the full-on thing. So I figured why not just tell you guys now, because it was honestly like the scariest experience of my life. Way scarier than any ghost, even scarier than the neighbors. Like, this was seriously like dangerous. So we're gonna talk about that today. But on a completely separate note, if you haven't already, go check out my merch. It should be linked right down there, so go take a look at it. Also, in yesterday's video, I was asking you guys which haunted hotel I should stay in, and it looks like it's leaning towards Hotel del Coronado, which I'm happy about. But I just remembered, I don't know why I was even thinking about this, but my birthday's in 10 days. So I was thinking maybe to get a hotel room on the night of my birthday, which is October 20th. So I think that'd be pretty cool to do, and bring Kelsey, maybe Amanda, and just all my ghosty friends. So yeah, I think that'll be super cool. Let me know if I should do it for my birthday. Oh, and a little side note, I got a GoPro yesterday, so I'm gonna start filming myself while surfing and doing some other cool stuff with this. Let me know if you have any ideas of what I should do with the GoPro, but yeah, I'm excited for that. Other than all that, let's get straight into today's video. Okay, so this is a story of when I was almost kidnapped, or whatever it was. I don't know what the intentions were, but I definitely didn't want to find out. Okay, so like I said in the beginning of the video, this was something that was really the scariest experience of my entire life. Something really bad actually could have happened, and I'm just lucky it turned out the way that it did turn out. So hopefully this story can help someone else, or just help you be more cautious in general, because this was in the middle of the day. So a lot of people have their guards down in the day, like me. I wasn't really thinking much of it, but this was about maybe 2 or 3 months ago. I was down at the beach by my house. So there's a specific beach I've gone to my entire life because it's literally right around the corner from my house. So I have always gone there. Countless amounts of times I've gone alone, like almost every day. Like when I'm surfing, I just go down there alone, and other times when I just want to lay out on the beach, I go alone. Like, it's no big deal. This is a beach that not many people go to unless it's like the middle of summer on like a Saturday. Other than that, it's like not everyone's top choice for a beach. So it's where the channel lets out. So not a lot of people go there. Usually it's, for the most part, surfers go there and then locals. So I went down there and it was the middle of the day, probably around 3 or 4 o'clock. I was just hanging out at the beach. There weren't many people down there whatsoever. I was one of the only people actually laying on the beach. I was laying on the beach and, you know, I was just listening to a podcast, having a good time, laying in the sun. And out of the corner of my eye, I see this lady walking down. There's like a cement path down to the sand. I saw this lady walking down. I'm like, oh, that lady looks kind of funky, because she was wearing like a hot pink jacket with like this big giant wig. It was, picture like a bleach blonde, my color hair, dreadlocks, like down to here, but like big, like huge, to the point where she had a hat on and it wouldn't even go over her head. It was just resting on top of the wig. I see her walking down and I'm like, oh, that's interesting. And so I didn't think anything of it. I was just laying down on my back with my eyes closed, just enjoying the sun. And at this point, I've been there for about 45 minutes or an hour, and I'm like relaxed and on the, you know, like when you're at the beach and you just lay down, you're like not really sleeping, but you're just like super relaxed. So I'm in that state and I hear someone say, excuse me, miss. And at first I just didn't even look, because I was like, I don't know if this person's talking to me, and I also just don't want to like engage in anything right now. So I'm laying there and I hear this, and then it keeps getting closer, and then it got so close that I was like, okay, what does this lady want? Like, seriously. So I open my eyes and I'm like, yeah, and I see this lady standing right next to me, And a lot of times, for some reason, when I'm at the beach, random people will just come up to me and start talking about like nothing. And this lady was probably in her like late 50s or early 60s, so a lot of people in that age group will be like, oh, like, are you surfing today? Or the water's warm today, isn't it? So I wasn't really trying to talk, but I was like, okay, I'll just be friendly and maybe she'll get the hint that I'm not really trying to talk right now. But no, that wasn't the case whatsoever. So she walks up to me, she's like, excuse me, miss. And I was like, yeah. She's like, you can't be down here. And I was like, what? She's like, you can't be down here all by yourself. And I said, well, why not? And she was like, there's predators down here. It's not safe for a lady like you to be sitting out all by yourself. And I was like, well, I'm fine. I come here like every single day. Like, I'm okay, I promise. And she's like, no, you don't understand. There's predators here. You need to go home right now. You're gonna get kidnapped. And when she said kidnapped, I'm like, that's when I really started to get scared. I started to get a bad feeling in my gut. Let me just say, from the beginning of seeing this lady, I forgot to mention, I just had a weird feeling about her. And then she said something that really just like freaked me out. She said, you can't come here 2 to 3 days in a row and feel safe. And the reason this freaked me out was because I had been going to other beaches down at other streets to surf and stuff. So I hadn't been going to this particular beach all summer really. But prior to this, the past 3 days before this day, I had come to this beach all by myself. So that's the part that really freaked me out, because I'm like, okay, has this lady been watching me this whole time? Or like, why did she say 2 to 3 days in a row? Like, I could be overanalyzing it, but just the fact that she said 2 to 3 days in a row just freaked me out. So I was like, okay, like, I'm fine, like, thank you, whatever. And so she starts walking away, and she stops and turns around, looks at me and says, consider this your warning. And so she starts walking away, and then I got out my phone and tried to film her just in case, and I got a short clip of her. I'll insert it right here. It's like really hard to see anything about her, but you can see her pink jacket, the wig. That's the other thing that freaked me out after thinking about it. Like, why was she wearing a wig like that? It clearly was fake, so I don't know. But so I lay down again, closed my eyes for like a few seconds, but I just felt so uneasy that I was like, I don't want to have my eyes closed right now. So I looked to see where she was because I was freaked out, and she had gone to the end of the jetty, and there was this man standing there, and they were talking to each other, and they kept looking over at me and pointing. And so at this point I started to get my stuff together to leave, and then she walked off the rocks, and there was a group of like little boys, probably like in between 9 and 12 years old, and there was probably like 5 of them all by themselves, no parents around. So she walks up to them and starts talking to them, and just the looks on their faces were like they were, you could tell they were uncomfortable. She's talking to little boys, and I stayed there for a couple minutes just to make sure she didn't do anything weird to them, and then she walked away from them, and it was just weird because they had no parents, so I was getting ready to call the police. But she walked away from the boys. I started walking back to my car, and that is when I started filming for TikTok. It was like the weirdest thing just happened to me. So I get back, this is where it gets really scary. Sorry if this is confusing, but it's just like I'm flustered talking about it because it still just like terrifies me. Okay, so I get back to my car and I start recording myself telling the story for TikTok. And so when I finish recording, I'm looking down at my phone, and at the exact same time on the driver's side and passenger side, the handles started yanking. And so I look over, the man is on the passenger side and the woman is on the driver's side standing right next to me. But luckily for me, I'm like always paranoid, so I always lock the car door literally the second I get in my car. So I'm super lucky about that. But so I look over at the lady, I'm staring at her, I don't know what to say, I'm in shock. It feels like a minute goes by, but it's probably like 2 seconds where I'm just staring at her, not saying anything. And so I'm staring at her, and she says, get out of the car, we just want to talk to you, like, get out of the car. And finally I'm like, no. And so I turn on my car and reverse it out of there, and they kind of walk after my car, and they're like, hey, wait, just stop for a second. And I just completely floored it, got out of there, and I started driving home. I was shaking. And before I went straight to my house, I made sure to like loop around like the area a little bit to make sure no one was following me, which they weren't. And so I'm so flustered, I didn't even know what to do. I was about to drive to the police department, but I'm like, okay, like I don't think anyone's following me. So I go home. Right when I get home, I call the police and tell them what had happened. And so they came over and took a report of what happened. I showed them the video of the lady. So they went back down there, and apparently they couldn't find anyone or anything unusual. The boys weren't there either. I told them what happened with the boys. No one was there anymore. So they said if I see the people ever again or anything like that, let them know, and they would be on the lookout for someone in a... This is the other thing. She was wearing a hot pink jacket that said, "Jesus loves you." So I don't know if that was kind of trying to be like a front for people to like trust her more and look more innocent. I don't really know, but that's kind of like unsettling too in itself. Like, these people are clearly up to something sketchy, but she chooses to wear that jacket with this wig and the hat, and it's just, something isn't right. It wasn't right. Something was going on there, and I'm just super lucky that I got out there when I did, and I got out there before it got dark, and that I locked my car doors. I mean, if I did anything different, it could have ended differently, and so that's just the scariest part. And I guess I'm trying to tell you guys, make sure you always lock your doors right when you get into your car. Always be aware of your surroundings and the people around you, because I wasn't. I mean, if she had, I don't know for sure, but if she had been watching me for 2 to 3 days, I had no idea. So that's really showed me to be more aware and scan my surroundings. And even when I'm walking my car, I make sure no one's following me to my car. Always just be super careful, because there's crazy people out there. This was in the middle of the day. Well, not the middle of the day, but it was completely light out. The sun was still high in the sky, and this happened. That is the story of when I almost got kidnapped, or whatever these people were trying to do to talk to me. I'm not sure. I mean, I'd take ghosts any day over that. Just be careful out there, especially now. There's like crazy things happening in the world with crazy people. All of this stuff in 2020, I feel like, has really just pushed some people over the edge to do crazy things. So just always be on the lookout. But other than that, I hope you guys did enjoy this story time, and I hope it will help you be more aware of your surroundings and everything like that. But if you are new here, make sure you subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on the remainder of the 31 days of Halloween and all my videos in the future. But other than that, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will catch you tomorrow. Peace.